Have you ever eaten something that came straight out of a rice field and tasted like heaven? Crawfish might look small, but it fuels a billion-dollar industry and one of the most beloved food traditions in America. Ready to see how this mud bug goes from swamp to spicy celebration? Crawfish, also known as mini lobsters, are distant cousins of lobsters, but way smaller, only about 3 to 5 inches long. There are over 500 species of crawfish in the world, and more than 250 are found in North America alone. In Louisiana, the red swamp crawfish dominates, powering a billion-dollar industry. Each year, Americans devour over 120 million pounds of crawfish, and 90% of that comes from Louisiana. But it's more than just food. Crawfish boils are family traditions, weekend rituals, and cultural festivals. Get ready to uncover the heart, heat, and heritage behind Louisiana's most beloved crustacean. Many Louisiana farmers use a smart rice crawfish rotation, producing both crops in a single year. Crawfish season runs from January to June, peaking between March and May. During winter, these tiny creatures burrow deep into the mud, sometimes up to 1 meter, to survive the cold. As spring arrives, they re-emerge, grow rapidly, and are ready for harvest. Harvesting crawfish looks more like fishing than farming. Farmers ride small, flat-bottom boats and move quickly through the shallow ponds. They use conical wire mesh traps, tall, pyramid-shaped cages with funnel-like openings. These are baited with fish scraps or pellets and set directly into the water. Dozens or even hundreds of traps are placed each day and checked manually the next morning. Each trap can hold a dozen or more crawfish, and during peak season, a single farm can harvest over 1,000 pounds a day. That's nearly half a ton. Once harvested, crawfish are dumped into large tanks of clean, cool water, where they soak for about 3 hours to purge any mud or waste. Then comes sorting workers quickly separate them by size and quality before packing them into mesh sacks weighing 30 to 40 pounds. From there, they're shipped off to processing plants or straight to markets and restaurants. Today, Louisiana is home to over 1,600 crawfish farms, generating more than $300 million in revenue annually and across the U.S. The crawfish industry is worth over $1 billion. After harvest, much of Louisiana's crawfish is sent straight to processing plants, where the real transformation begins. First, the crawfish are weighed and sorted both manually and with the help of specialized machines. Skilled workers examine them for size and quality, removing any broken or undersized crawfish. It's a fast-paced process in some plants. A single worker can sort over 2,000 crawfish per hour. Next comes a thorough rinse to remove any remaining mud, algae, or debris. Cleanliness is key, especially when handling thousands of pounds each day. Then, crawfish are cooked in high-temperature steam chambers, locking in flavor and turning their shells a vibrant red. Right after boiling, they're plunged into ice-cold water to halt the cooking process instantly. This shock chill keeps the meat firm and juicy and helps preserve its fresh, sweet taste. At this point, the processing line splits in two. Some crawfish are packed whole head, shell, and all, and flash frozen for restaurants, markets, or export. The rest are sent to a peeling station, where skilled workers hand peel the tails, sometimes up to 15,000 tails per shift, carefully removing the shell to collect only the sweet, tender meat. Crawfish tail meat is the most prized part, rich and flavorful. It's the heart of beloved southern dishes, like crawfish étouffée, bisque, gumbo, and po' boy sandwiches. Finally, the meat is packaged, vacuum-sealed, and shipped across the country from local diners in New Orleans to grocery stores nationwide. Can you believe over 120 million pounds of crawfish are eaten every year in the U.S.? And most of that ends up in one epic dish. The crawfish boil, a fiery southern tradition. Giant pots are loaded with crawfish, corn, potatoes, and sausage, all drenched in spicy Cajun seasoning. In Louisiana alone, people devour over 60 million pounds a year, and some can eat 5 to 10 pounds in just one sitting. No forks, no knives, just hands, spice, and laughter. Would you try this messy, mouth-watering feast? Drop a comment below. Hold on to your party hats, because cakes are way more fascinating than just being delicious. We've been celebrating with these sweet treats for ages, but did you know just how massive our obsession is? Globally, people gobble down a mind-boggling 50 to 100 million birthday cakes every single day. That's a lot of candles. Cakes have been the life of the party for centuries, and honestly, we still can't get enough of them. Did you know that in the UK alone, people spend over £368 million a year on cakes? Chocolate tops the chart as the most loved flavor, followed closely by good old vanilla. But cakes weren't always this fluffy and sweet. The very first cakes weren't fluffy at all. They were more like flat, dried grain discs. For centuries, these decadent delights were exclusively for the upper class. It wasn't until the 18th century that prices dropped, finally letting more people join the cake party. Oh, and speaking of big, get this. The world's tallest cake soared to an unbelievable 33 meters, and the most expensive one ever sold cost a jaw-dropping $75 million. Last but not least, everyone, mark your calendars, there's even a National Cake Day on the 26th of November. Now that's a celebration we can all get behind. It all starts with the finest ingredients. In most large-scale bakeries, the eggs usually come from trusted poultry farms that specialize in producing high-quality, food-grade eggs. These farms are often local or regional to ensure freshness, but some big bakeries also source from certified suppliers around the country or even internationally, depending on their standards. Once they arrive, the eggs are handled by some seriously cool machines that crack and separate them at lightning speed, yolks one way, whites the other, ready to be whipped. After the eggs are separated, it's time for the rest of the dream team to join the mix. We're talking sugar, flour, baking powder, a splash of milk, melted butter, and sometimes a dash of oil, all tossed into a giant industrial mixing bowl. Everything gets whipped together into a smooth, fluffy batter. And while classic vanilla sponge is always a crowd pleaser, things get even more exciting with flavors like matcha, zesty orange, rich chocolate, or even strawberry. Each batter has its own personality, but they all share one goal: to rise up and become the softest, most delicious cake layers ever. In many factories, the molds are either sprayed with a light mist of oil or lined with parchment paper to make sure nothing sticks, because nobody likes a cake that won't let go. Once that's done, the smooth, airy batter is poured in with precision. Automated systems take over here, making sure every single mold gets the exact right amount, no more, no less. It's time to crank up the heat, literally. The ovens are fired up, and the anticipation kicks in as we wait to see those golden brown, soft, and fluffy sponge cakes rise to perfection. These industrial baking ovens are engineered to maintain exact temperatures throughout the process, making sure every single cake is evenly baked. These fluffy cakes are sent through slicing machines that neatly cut them into even, round layers like pancake perfection on repeat. This step is super important because soon, luscious layers of cream and fruity jam will be added in between, creating that classic, mouth-watering, layered cake look we all love. Using cutting machines ensures each slice is uniform. Before the cream goes on, some slices might get a quick spritz of syrup, and no, it's not just for show. This light mist of syrup helps keep the sponge layers moist, tender, and extra tasty. And here it is, the moment we've all been waiting for. You're now witnessing the magic of how that rich, creamy, melt-in-your-mouth frosting gets made. This irresistible stuff is the superstar of the cake world. And trust us, it's as addictive as it looks. Whether it's classic vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, or something wild like mango or matcha, the flavors and colors can be customized to match any design or craving. Now comes the fun part, layering up the goodness. Those rich, creamy frostings are generously spread between the fluffy sponge layers, creating that dreamy stack of cake and cream. After the cake layers are stacked and filled, it's time to give the whole thing a sweet makeover. A robotic arm steps in like a frosting artist, smoothly icing the entire cake with a flawless layer of creamy goodness. These factories use smart systems that turning cake making into a high-tech art form. The cakes are now ready for their final glow-up, the decoration stage. With the help of advanced machines, bakers can whip up stunning designs in no time, from elegant swirls and floral touches to super intricate patterns that look almost too pretty to eat. These machines bring precision and flair, turning every cake into a show-stopping masterpiece. However, when it comes to custom-made cakes, many bakeries still prefer the magic of hand decoration. Skilled bakers with a sharp eye for detail and a whole lot of creativity take the reins, turning each cake into a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. From delicate piping to handcrafted sugar flowers, These artisans know exactly how to bring a customer's vision to life, proving that sometimes the human touch makes all the difference. The cake cutting step might happen, or it might be skipped altogether, depending on the type of cake being made. But when slicing is needed, you can bet modern factories have machines for that too. High-speed cutters take care of the job with precision and consistency, making sure every piece is just right. It's quick, clean, and way more efficient than using a knife by hand. Once those glorious cakes are baked to perfection, they're ready for their next adventure. Some of them head straight into chilled storage rooms, keeping them fresh and ready for later enjoyment. Others are immediately packaged and whisked away to stores, eager to tempt anyone who walks by. Honestly, who could ever say no to the irresistible charm of a perfectly crafted, delicious cake? I certainly can't. So, that makes me wonder, what's your absolute favorite cake flavor? What if we told you that in some parts of the world, rats aren't pests but a profitable source of food? In Southeast Asia, rat farming has quietly grown into a booming rural business. From homemade traps to large-scale operations, raising rats is cheap, efficient, and surprisingly rewarding. Let's take a closer look at how this unusual livestock is feeding thousands and transforming lives. There are over 1,000 species of rats around the world. You'll find them almost everywhere: city sewers filled with sewer rats, rural fields, home to rice rats, and even deep forests or scorching deserts where humans can't survive. Though often seen as destructive pests, rats are surprisingly fascinating. They can squeeze through holes the size of a coin, survive long falls, and even laugh when tickled. When it comes to catching rats, people have come up with some surprisingly clever methods. In cities and rural homes, DIY traps made from cages, plastic bottles, or even balloons floating over buckets are commonly used. These traps are cheap, effective, and often catch multiple rats overnight. In many countries, trained dogs are used to chase and catch rats with incredible speed and accuracy. These dogs can detect rats hiding under debris or in thick vegetation, making them perfect rat hunters. Out in the rice fields, farmers go old school. After harvesting, they dig into the soil to find hidden rats, often catching them by hand. One innovative method involves using smoke machines. Farmers pump smoke into rat burrows, forcing the animals to flee straight into waiting baskets. Shockingly, in places like Vietnam and Cambodia, millions of field rats are caught every year not just to control pests, but also for food. In some regions, up to 3,000 tons of rats are harvested annually and sold in markets. In parts of Vietnam and Thailand, rat farming has become a surprising but growing business. There are large-scale rat farms where hundreds of rats are raised in concrete pens. Others build wide, airy rooms with good ventilation and line the floor with rice husks to absorb moisture and reduce odor. It's low cost and easy to manage. Feeding the rats is just as simple and cheap. Farmers use leftovers from rice harvesting, broken rice, corn, and vegetables. A single adult rat only needs about 20–30 grams of food per day, making them one of the most efficient animals to raise in terms of feed. Some farmers recycle food waste from markets or restaurants to feed hundreds of rats at virtually no cost. Shockingly, a small rat farm can produce over 500 kilograms of meat every few months with minimal investment. And because field rats grow fast and reproduce quickly, they're seen as a high-return livestock. A healthy adult rat can sell for more than chicken, and the demand is growing. To begin, farmers select healthy wild rats or buy starter breeding pairs. These are released into the enclosures to mate and multiply. A female rat can give birth to 7 to 12 pups per litter and can reproduce every 25 to 30 days, making population growth extremely rapid. When it's time to harvest, the process is quick and clean. Farmers use long-handled grabbers and thick gloves to avoid bites, as the rats can still be fast and aggressive. Once rats are harvested, the meat goes through a surprisingly careful process. First, the animals are cleaned, fur is burned off over open flames or hot water, and the internal organs are removed. The meat is then washed thoroughly, sometimes marinated with lemongrass, garlic, and chili, depending on the local recipe. In Vietnam and Cambodia, rat meat is grilled, deep-fried, stir-fried, or stewed. The taste? Many say it's similar to free-range chicken or rabbit lean, sweet and slightly chewy. It's a popular delicacy in the Mekong Delta and in rural Cambodian towns, especially during the post-harvest season. Nutritionally, rat meat is high in protein and low in fat. Some locals even believe it boosts energy and strengthens the immune system. While that's still debated, one thing's clear: rat meat is a key part of food security in rural Southeast Asia. For many families, turning rats from pests into profit has transformed their lives, making rat farming and processing not just practical, but essential. Would you dare to try rat meat? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more surprising food stories from around the world.